There we go. Now we might have some audio in it. But yeah, it's a bit confusing if you change between merchants. Anyways, good luck on the run.
Alright, so I guess we're back, or we're here, and she's Leggy Starscream, she's running the game, I'm Demrin 2, I'm just here to talk about it. Thankfully, unlike the NES version, you cannot miss it. There's actually a time loss if you attempt to leave that room. Sarah goes, hey, hang on, 1 sec, come back. And then she makes you come back and gives you loot. It doesn't give you anything. He's like, go kill things elsewhere, because reasons. As usual, your red mages are allergic to getting maximum hit points, which is always fantastic. This will come into play much later in the run. But hit points will matter in a couple of fights, because we need to hit... we don't need to hit the certain breakpoints, but if we don't, there's much more of a chance of wiping the certain boss fights later.
Leggy, may I cut in again? Are you broadcasting your mic right now? Because only the Marines can be heard so far. Now I be able to hear you.
How is that?
No idea. It's mostly because, well, Discord doesn't pick up you and broadcast that on the desktop audio, so you have to capture your microphone as well.
Yeah.
Tech issues, yay!
Yay!
So wait, now you can hear everybody? Yay.
Yay!
I hope it's not me they hear. Anyways, I'm gonna check that. Be enjoy the run again!
Alright. Luckily, those tech issues happened right in the middle of a cutscene. Which, usually is my Twitter break during these runs. It happens, like, way too early on to be anything other than that.
Yeah, I always like to joke that every good RPG speedrun has a bathroom break built into it somewhere. It's just sad that in this one it's about 5 minutes in. But we've crossed the bridge, we've gotten some plot exposition, we're out here to light the crystals and find out why the monsters are increasing and see if Stella can be an ordinary girl. But we're on our way to Provoca because we heard that there are... And we're going to run into wolves, which are like the worst enemy in the early game because they're hard to run from. They attack before you usually. We hate them an awful lot.
Yeah. Though, we also are running into a pack of 4 crazy horses. Now, normally, you don't take a lot of fights on this run, but I'm feeling greedy. At this stage in the game, these crazy horses are worth a fair bit of experience points, and it's going to make that upcoming fight we've got going on rather nice.
Yeah, it will. The whole idea here is that while this is incredibly greedy, because normally we don't take fights on this route, you can see that these are worth a total of 65 experience, which will net us level 4. Level 4 on the fighter is actually really important, because with level 4 on the fighter, you'll notice that during that fight, the fighter was doing 1 hit and the red mages were doing 2. This has to do with hit percentage, which is a statistic still in the original Final Fantasy. But every 32% hit that you have, you get an additional hit. The red mage gets 2 hits at 3, which is why we fight for level 2 before Garland as well, because that assures Garland gives us level 3. But at level 4, the fighter gets 2 hits, and normally the fighter cannot one-shot pirates. Now the fighter can one-shot pirates.
Yeah, you'll notice that the white mage is still lagging behind, but, you know, white mage. They're not exactly here to do the physical attacks.
The white mage serves one major purpose in this run, which is casting the occasional white magic spell. And occasionally dying when you need them dead.
Yeah. Oh boy, here we go. So now it's time for the largest source of RNG in this, 3-hour-long RPG. The 15 puzzle.
Oh, I thought we were going to play Dr. Mario.
I wish.
So, we're going to let Leggy...
puzzle game.
Yeah, we're going to let Leggy concentrate on this a little bit, but our goal for doing this puzzle right now is that we want to get our hands on 2 things here. First is an emergency exit, which allows us to exit from dungeons, which will come in handy a little bit later, because it will save us one of the worst run-outs of a dungeon in the entire game. And we are looking for potentially an elixir, and not to use it or anything, but it's worth 1,000 gold, and it will fuel our early game pretty well.
Well, I got the elixir.
Right, the elixir will sell for 1,000 gil, which is way more than what we would really need at this point in the game, but we will use it to buy temper, and swords. So we've got that going.
Yeah, it's not game ending if I don't get the emergency exit, but it is super convenient to have.
I know when I'm going for PBs that I will reset if I don't get an emergency exit in 3 tries.
Yeah. Alright, here is try number 3.
Yep, most runners of this game actually keep a save for just doing the 15 puzzle, so that they can stay sharp. But
No dice, but I got a second elixir, so we're going to be rolling in the cash.
well, that's nice at least. No emergency exit means that, if this were a PB attempt, we'd be going and resetting and trying again later, but in this case, we're just going to sell off those elixirs for an absolute pile of money. And we're going to buy 2 copies of Temper, and we're going to buy 2 broadswords, I believe. And have some left over.
With this much money, I think I'm going to buy 3.
Wait, have neither of your red mages gained any maximum hit points yet?
I'll take a look the next time I'm in battle.
I'm pretty sure I saw that they're both at 38 hit points. So that's not great.
Very suboptimal.
So hit point growth's
yes.
a little bit random here.
But as it stands, I literally do not think it's possible to do worse on HP growth here.
Yep, so hit point growth is randomized. Basically, everybody has a vitality statistic, and that assures some amount of health per level. And then sometimes you'll roll high on your health gain. Fighters are guaranteed to roll health every level, so fighters have a great health growth, and white mages are second best in that category. So you'll notice that the fighter and the white mage will be gaining health pretty consistently throughout the run. The red mages, though, we are just hoping that they get to like 160 by level 14.
Mm-hmm. If they don't, it's not the end of the world, it just gets a little scary. Ew. I'm not ready for Octawolf Traveler.
Leggy will also happily be abusing the ability to reset her saves, because some encounters are fantastic. Like this encounter, assuming that the first red mage who's poisoned survives it, is going to be fantastic for experience and money.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves are terrible. And Lucia Zero, to answer your question about this estimate being super long, Leggy's PB is 248. There are 16 runners who have times under 3 hours in this game total. We are going to be taking a couple of safeties that we normally do not take in PB attempts, because obviously this is a marathon. We're going to be marathon safe. So the estimate is a little bit higher than usual, but we're gonna do our best to use that time wisely to make sure that we can get through pretty safely here.
Alright, so we're gonna get a couple of tents. We're gonna get a stockpile of antidotes and a stockpile of potions. Yeah, and the other side of the coin for the estimate is that there is also a little bit of buffer for some just horrible RNG to happen. You know, the infamous, that's never happened before in a run.
Which happened to you a couple of days ago, in fact.
In a part that I'm sure we'll be talking about when we get there, coming up soon.
Yeah, that should be in about 10 or 15 minutes, hopefully, at the absolute most.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, we actually don't talk to anybody in this, so we actually don't get to see any of the plot because it's Final Fantasy 1, thankfully, I guess. But we've been conscripted to go and find a crown in a cave that is this like the third worst cave in the game? How do we rank the caves of this game?
Oh god, I mean, it also depends, which version of this game you're talking about, because how bad various caves become varies so wildly.
Well, you're running GBA right now, so if we were to rank the caves in GBA...
That's a tricky one. But I would definitely say none of them are good. There is no such thing as a good cave in Final Fantasy 1.
All right, everybody, there's your cop-out answer from your runner, Leggy Starscream.
But also, let's see here. Going off the list of caves, we have Marsh Cave, Ice Cave, and Earth Cave, canonically. We also have, Fire Cave, Water Cave, and Sky Cave, if you want to be meme-ish about it.
There's Earth Cave, which is probably up there.
Yeah. Of the three, I'd say Ice Cave is definitely the best. But that's just because... well... you walk out of it a god.
Yeah, basically. I think Earth Cave might be the worst, but, again, depending on version, but in this version I think Earth is the worst by a decent margin.
Yeah, that's fair.
If only because you have to go in there twice, and the second time, well, we'll see.
I'm picking up a fourth broadsword, not because I can use it, but because it's worth a little bit of money to sell.
Yeah, one of the things that we're always going to try and keep up is we're going to need a ton of money at points in this run. Part of it we get from Ice Cave, which is the other reason why we love Ice Cave, but the rest of it is we are going to need money to keep our supply levels high, our morale high. We got to buy a bunch of spells at level 3, and those cost 1,000 a piece. So we're going to need thousands upon thousands of gold early, and we're going to need hundreds of thousands of gold before we finish this run. So
yeah. Light Warriors, revitalizing your economy since whatever in-game year this is.
2001.
Alright. No. God, no.
Oof. So this fight can spawn between 2 and 4 Pisca Demons here, and so, Leggy, why do we want fewer than 4 Pisca Demons?
Because Pisco Demons are trash and I hate them. And that 92 damage on the White Mage is the real answer.
Yeah, the fighter's got a shield and a hat on, and still gets absolutely plastered by Pisca Demons. The Red Mages are likely to get one shot, honestly.
Wow. Two Tempers did not one-shot that second Pisco. That's horrifying.
Well, it evaded one of the hits. If you got both hits, you'd have been fine.
Yeah. Okay, one down. Whew. That was spicy. But we're through.
Wait, did nobody die? That's a rare treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, even with two there, and level 7, we do occasionally get just destroyed by the Pisca Demons if they roll high. Like that 90 hit on the White Mage would have absolutely killed one of the Red Mages dead. Possibly before Tempers go off. We want the Tempers because we want to make sure that our fighter can one-shot the second Pisca Demon on turn 2.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah. The fact that no one died that fight is, frankly, a miracle. I'm taking a few extra encounters on this walkout just to ensure that my Red Mages get to level 9 by the other side of Astos.
Yep. our first major breakpoint here is level 8 on the White Mage and level 9 on the Red Mages, because unlike the NES version, you can't just buy the spells if you're not able to use them. So in the PSP and GBA versions, you need a specific number of levels to use spells, and so it's level 8 for the White Mage to learn level 3 magic, level 3 magic, and it is level 9 for the Red Mages. So, interestingly enough, when we get to Astos in a minute here, if either of the Red Mages die, we will have to reset the fight, because we absolutely need that Astos experience to get the Red Mages to level 9.
Yeah, Astos is worth the most golden experience of any single enemy we fought to date.
And if we can maybe catch one more encounter on the way to Astos and get to level 8, then we can also very happily sacrifice the White Mage to Astos, potentially. And make sure our Red Mages will get to 9, because our White Mage does not need the level right now.
Yeah. We could also grab that level on the way back to Elfland on the White Mage. There's a reason we have the Phoenix down, and yeah, no, I'm resetting out of that one. Enemies in this game have the ability to inflict status effects when they hit you. One of those status effects is paralysis, which skips your turn until it wears off, and it has a random chance of wearing off. It is disgusting, especially when you have a large number of enemies attacking a smaller number of light warriors.
Yeah, and the big thing with melee attacks is actually that party order does matter. This is kind of a carryover from the original NES version, but your fighter, who is in that top slot there, has a 50% chance of being targeted by whatever is going on. Your second slot is 25%, and the remaining 25% is split between your bottom two units, which we will be taking advantage of in a couple of places in the run, because we're going to rearrange the party a couple of times to make sure that the right people are in the right places, because, you know, in some fights we don't care about the White Mage, so we're going to throw the White Mage out in front, and in some fights, you know, the White Mage will be tanky enough to sit in the second spot and be okay.
Yeah, after a certain point in this game, we'll have enough gear, and the White Mage will have, you know, sufficient amounts of hit points that they'll be sitting in that second slot, basically, for the rest of the run. Gonna take a quick nap before we go into this castle, where, you know, the kindly old king was looking for his crown, and absolutely nothing can go wrong, you know, by returning it to him. Nope, it was Astos.
Wait, really?
It's always Astos.
Man, I always fall for that one, too.
Alright, so we're gonna beat up Astos, we're gonna get off Tempers on the fighter, and the fighter's gonna go first.
Good job, fighter.
So hey, Astos can do physical attacks for a change.
Yeah, so Astos has a 50% chance of casting spells, and in the GBA version, much like the NES version, the spell list is fixed. So Astos casts 4 spells in order. The first one is Death, which is a decent chance to instantly kill a target. As you can see, the White Mage, who's out in front, had a 50% chance of being targeted by that and just died. Followed up by Slowra, which will reduce the hit rate of a character, Haste, which will increase his own hit rate, and then Fire 2 is his 4th spell.
Which I had forgotten about when I was running this recently, and got surprised by twice.
Yep. And if you get terrible turn order, this is normally a 4-turn fight, so you're just hoping for Astos to melee once, and that generally makes everything pretty okay at that point. But what happened, of course, was that the White Mage got killed. The fighter got slowed, which meant that the fighter's attack power went down, because when you're slowed, you only deliver 1 hit. And then 2 turns later, the fighter, not able to put out the 420 damage that's necessary to get this kill, well, that was the end of that.
Thankfully, you know, that sort of thing happening doesn't kill the run, it just is slow.
Again, fairly nightmarish outcome on PB runs, though. But that's how it goes.
I'm gonna heal up at this point, just to be safe. So now at this point, I have the Crystal Eye, which I guess I looted off Astos' dead body. It's unclear where that came from. And that needs to be delivered back to its rightful owner, who was in a cave that I could have stopped by on my way to Privoka, but I didn't. Because why would I go to a random cave?
I don't know.
Exactly. But before I do that, I'm going to stop off in Elfland and buy a little bit of extra magic. I've got enough money that I'm going to buy all the black magic I need, and then we'll come back through later for spells for the white mage.
Yeah, we end up buying 6 spells here at this point in the run, but we're going to buy 1 now and 5 later. Because we want to have Fire 2 and Lightning 2, or Fyra and Thundara in this version on both of our mages, and our white mage needs Kira and Diara, which deals AoE damage to the undead, which will come in handy in Earth Cave by a wide margin.
And here's why we get Thundara. Goodbye, wolves.
Solve all your problems by throwing magic at it. The game.
I feel like that's a lot of games.
Yeah, but, you know, if you need to punch it, your red mage throws temper at your fighter. If you need to AoE it, your red mages throw lightning at it. If you need to not die, you've got a white mage. You're good. Everything is good.
Yeah.
And you tried to run from Sayhags, which is silly.
Look. Sometimes you just gotta get away.
But they're basically wolves of the sea. This is another encounter that we don't love seeing in the early game, because for some reason they're harder to run away from, and there's always lots of them. But with, again, Thundara, we're gonna nuke them and run.
Yeah. Gonna grab some ogres because they're 200 gold apiece, and that's gonna be nice. Some nice supplies for my next dungeon that I encounter.
You just keep encountering wolves, don't you?
Yes. Shockingly well-lit cave we've got going on here. Especially because Matoya's blind.
Yeah, but look at that hat. She's got to be a red mage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is definitely a red mage hat. So you'd assume that she could use magic to keep this place pretty well lit. Also skulls.
True. Though, a lot less skulls than in the NES version.
Or as some people would call them, tasteful decorations.
Please don't eat the skulls.
I said tasteful, not tasty. Very different.
Oh, okay.
But we got this crystal eye from Astos. It's just basically a glorified contact lens. We return it to Matoya so that she can see again, and she gives us an energy drink.
Yeah, Jolt Tonic. Coming soon to a store near you.
I sure hope not.
But yeah, we're gonna take this all the way back down. If we actually took the time to, talk to the townspeople about their problems and understand what's going on and, read dialogue and pay attention to the plot, we would know that the Prince of Elfland has been cursed by Astos, Sleeping Beauty style, and is just taking a nap in here.
Yeah, you got no ocean encounters on the way back to Elfland. Good job.
Yeah. That's, a strong RNG manipulation that, I introduced halfway through the run out of nowhere. Now it's completely random.
It's all luck. We don't love ocean encounters. They're slow. So, seas clear is usually a good sign when you're trying to run for keep.
And we're going to pick up a little extra golden experience from the Elfland Treasury now that they gave us the key for some reason.
I mean, getting double elixirs early, maybe you can hang on to that Mithril Hammer and give it to the White Mage.
Nah.
Aww. The hammer sells for 1,000 gold, which at this point in time, because our light warriors didn't get any money from the King of Cornelia for some reason, right? We're sort of broke.
Pick up some spells. Gonna pick up a few more supplies, and then we're going to go see some bonus marathon content. Normally at this point in the run, I would just be beelining it straight up to Corneria. Now that I have the Mystic Key, I can go raid their treasury as well. But this is a marathon, and I want to be safe. So we're going to go back up to Northwest Castle and raid the one treasury I actually don't have any moral objections to raiding now that their king is dead. Because we killed him. I'm starting to rethink this moral objection thing.
I mean, it's just the symptom of systematic issues within elf culture that they wouldn't let Astos reintegrate into society. And so it led us to having to, end this feud within their families, but being a party of D&D characters, we only know how to solve our problems one way.
Stabby justice.
I mean, I didn't roll diplomacy. But yeah, we're going to go in here and we are going to encounter. This is one of the very few guaranteed encounter tiles that we see during the run. We only see 5 of them, I think. At one of them, this one we usually skip.
Yeah, there's this one, There's the 2 in Ice Cave. There's the Phantom tile. There's the Blue Dragon tile. There's the Waterfall tile. There's Sharknado if you're unlucky.
Oh, and there's the Nightmare tile and Castle Ordeals.
Mm-hmm. So maybe a bit more.
So Final Fantasy, of course, maintaining its tradition from the original is that there are some tiles in the game that are unmarked, but are guaranteed to have encounters, and these have mummies. Mummies are a little tough in that they have a bunch of physical resistance, but on the flip side of the coin, they're undead, so they're weak to fire, and the White Mage can use Diara. So we are going to use 2 nukes per round, and 2 nukes will kill the mummies. We're always hoping to see more than 2. 5 is optimal, 4 is great. But anything more than 2 is really what we want.
Yeah. And you can spend as much or as little time here as you want. I'm going to go for a couple of rounds. In the hopes of hitting level 12 before I run out of MP. And then we'll continue on with the plot.
And finally, after 10 levels, one of our red mages has finally taken the lead in the hit point race with 114 maximum hit points to 95.
And there's a reason I'm saving after every one of these, and that's because mummies can ambush you.
And mummies have Sleep Touch, which is a little bit safer than Paralysis Touch because Sleep has a better chance of wearing off. But also, at this point in the game, you're still wearing chainmail, and your white mage is wearing robes.
Mm-hmm.
So things are still a little bit dicey on the getting killed front.
Though that will change very shortly. Cool, I'm going to call that a successful mummy grind.
Yep, normally in PB attempts we try to get our level 12 while diving the next dungeon because there's a couple of encounters that are great for experience in there. But on the flip side of the coin, of course, is that you're going into Earth Cave at like level 10.
Mm-hmm.
So bad things sometimes happen.
Yeah.
And by bad things, I mean your red mages don't have enough hit points to survive a troll throwing elbows. So that's 6 of 1.
Yeah.
And of course, the major thing is that the one thing that going to Northwest nets us, of course, is that the power staff sells for a little bit over 6,000 gold.
Mm-hmm.
We get a bunch of gold from mummies, so we have probably about 10,000 more gold than we normally do at this point in the run. Which means supply heaven is about to happen.
Yeah. You'll notice I dumped most of my gold into gold needles before we headed up to Northwest Castle. Those are going to be useful for when things can petrify some of our light warriors.
And of course, this basically being, D&D. If you know your D&D monsters, you'll know which ones are capable of petrifying you. Basically on sight. You'll know them immediately.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you who don't know your D&D monsters, just remember that birds are jerks.
Is there any RPG where birds are okay? I don't know, every time I ask this question, we all come to the same answer, which is no. But
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. I'm still thinking now.
I mean, when I think about birds, we think about Pazuzu from Mystic Quest, or yeah, we don't need to go much further than that for you, do we?
Yeah, I started learning to run that one, and oh boy, that is a jerk bird if I've ever met one. So we sold a few things off, and bought a few Phoenix Downs. And now we're going to go say hi to the dwarfs, who maintain a much less elaborate society than the elves. For, whatever reason.
And of course, just to get everybody caught up on the plot, for some odd reason, Cornelia was keeping explosives in their armory. We are unsure why. It seems like a really bad idea, honestly.
I think it has something to do with why the bridge is out.
It's science. It's definitely science. So we are going to take this nitro powder, which in the original translation is just TNT. We're going to take it to the dwarves who'll know what to do with it.
Which, I'm sure will be, interesting and not horribly destructive or anything.
Leggy, it's explosives. What else do we do with explosives?
Fireworks?
I can't argue with your logic. But this is Narek. He's our bestie. He is a pyromaniac.
Dwarves also have the aggressive Scottish accent that they always do. But yeah, with just a little bit of nitro powder, you too can change the terrain type of exactly one tile of the overworld.
You know how expensive the terraforming upgrade is normally?
No, because I've never got it in this game.
Yeah, it's basically not in this game. But yeah, we are going to rip a canal right out of the side of the world here so that we can sail through to the outer world.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Narek is very excited that he got to blow something up.
I mean, I understand that. That's a big mood. And now, because we have the Mystic Key, which apparently all of the Great Kingdoms decided to lock things up with, for some reason. I mean,
one key to rule them all, right? But really the important things we grabbed out of there was we grabbed the Worm Killer, which is our first major sword upgrade. We grabbed Mithril Mail, which is actually silver armor from the original, which is a step up from the chainmail that we've been using.
Mm-hmm. And once we get our way to the next town, we're going to buy one last piece of armor before we go dive that Cave of the Earth.
Yeah, we're going to make sure, and part of why we loot the Dwarf Armory is just to make sure that we've got 4,000 gold on hand so that we can buy one silver bracelet.
Yeah. If money's a little tight and you don't quite have that 4,000 gold, you do. You can always sell off the Worm Killer for exactly the amount of money you need. Convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, selling the Worm Killer is a little bit rough because, again, it will reduce your damage output for certain trash packs in Earth Cave that we actually want to fight. So it's a little bit of a trade-off, certainly. So we could do better. We could do worse. I'm not a fan of selling it, but, you know, it is an option.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather not sell it, but some days you just gotta make ends meet.
Alright, so now as you can see, now the fighter has the iron armor that we picked up in Cornelia alongside the Worm Killer and the hat that we picked up in... that we had picked up over in the Dwarf Armory. And so now we're going to head over, because if we talk to the people in Melmond, we realize that they're having problems too that were caused by some rampaging undead from the cave to the south.
Yeah, apparently there's some vampire or something down here that's causing all of the issues. So let's go beat that up, and then all of the issues should be solved. I'm gonna reset. Unfortunately, Fyra can't one-shot Warg Wolves yet, which is highly unfortunate. Specifically, highly unfortunate for my ability to get out of that fight quickly.
Nature of the thing and all that.
Oh hey, more mummies.
Right, so encounters that we care about. Mummies, we're going to be killing them because they're still worth a ton of experience and money for what we're doing right now if they're in the large packs like this. Let's see, what else is out there? Trolls and Minotaurs are just great experience, so we're probably going to be trying to fend those off as best we can. Everything else we hate.
And unfortunately, some of the other things we can't run away from.
So there'll be a lot of saving and potentially save scumming because running away is inconsistent, and it's sometimes a lot easier, like Gargoyle Ambush here, to just take a reset and start over because we've got to sit through all those attack animations and then try to run, and then we're going to fail to run, and we're going to get really salty at the game. This has never happened to me before, though.
I've never experienced negative emotions about my ability to run away in this game. Ever. That is something that has, in fact, never happened before.
Wait, what about the PSP version? Or the randomizer?
Shush. So it looks like Cuckoo is doing a bit better on HP at this point. Blank is still a little low.
Oh, finally. At least that's happening. We get a preemptive on Trolls and Minotaurs. This is fantastic right now. This is probably the best two encounters I've seen in Earth ever, and would definitely save after this fight because I don't want to lose all this experience points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to menu anyway to heal up that white mage, so...
Yeah, even with the silver bangle, which is funny, a bracelet on your wrist gives just as much armor as a full suit of chainmail. You know, white mage can still get pretty pummeled here. Oddly enough, when I see Hill Gigases, I take them, because I always feel like that they're worth the effort, but also they also hit incredibly hard.
Yeah. I go back and forth, depending on, you know, how I'm feeling that week.
Also, if the gold route is bad, you can grab a little bit of extra gold in that room, but it's not always necessary because our gold route is fantastic right now.
Yeah. Like, it's to the point where I'm honestly considering skipping the 3,400 gold on this floor. Oh boy. Kill it with fire and holy light.
Again, because these are able to paralyze the party, we generally don't mess around. If we had just saved, resetting out is an option here, but as you can see, as they start locking down the party members, it's going to become more and more problematic.
Or you just blast them with fire and get away just fine.
Yeah, I mean they can't stop you from leaving if they're all dead already.
Mm-hmm. Hey, remember how we were talking about Stone Touch?
Jerk birds!
So yeah, I'm just gonna skip that money this time. Oh hey, even more friends. Who still hit like trucks.
Yep, Piscademons are back from the abyss, and much like their counterparts on the encounter tile, they cannot be run from. So they're terrifying.
There we are.
Like the fighter with the great helmet, the iron armor, the iron shield, finally has enough defense to stand there and go, okay, at least I can take a hit from this.
Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me, game?
Well,
Yeah,
they that was something else.
Yeah, they almost two-shot that red mage, and then the third one came in, you know, pulled the plug on life support there.
Yep. When I said that we hate everything other than the couple of encounters that are worth great experience, I am not kidding. Also, the worst part about this run is that we've got to turn around and leave.
Yeah, this right here is why we desperately pray for that emergency exit.
If we're being incredibly greedy, we hope for 2.
Yes. I am usually not so lucky.
I am only lucky in practice, where I will get emergency exits every single time I do the puzzle.
So here's the vampire. The, you know, cause of the Earth's rot. And the master of the Earth Cave. We're just gonna beat up real fast.
Ah, fighter did good damage this time. Usually don't see the fighter get all 3 hits off against vampire.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we're doing pretty okay on experience. We're already level 14.
Oh, I must have missed something along the way then, because that's real good.
I've just been getting really good fights.
Yeah, this does not qualify though.
Game. Please. Like I said, never been salty.
Nope, this game does not make anybody salty ever.
And the other downside of needing to run out is that this turns into a bit more of a resource management puzzle than anyone really wants to deal with. Because you'll notice my MP is running low, and my MP is how I handle most of the bad encounters. I think I have like 1 or 2 ethers that I could use, but I'm mostly saving those for the next boss fight we have to encounter.
Yep. Normally we'd be happily just torching all of our spells and then hitting the emergency exit and getting out of here. So, yeah, things are going to be a little bit sketchy, and we're going to have to save a lot. And this is part of why we add some time to the estimate, because sometimes you don't get an emergency exit.
Mm-hmm. And then sometimes you get so many Pisco demons. So many.
I'm blessed by their noodly face appendages.
I mean, fair. More importantly, I hope we get blessed by Lich.
We'll talk about that when we get there. But we're going to need the chat's help when we get to that point.
Yeah. Alright, we have made it off of the 3rd floor of Earth Cave. Hallelujah.
Although, I mean, getting salty is really a normal tradition here, because this is, after all, the salt of the earth.
Hiss. Like I haven't told worse to you.
I mean, everybody in chat, if there's anything that the Final Fantasy running community loves, it's puns.
I thought it was Agamafax.
We also love Agamafax, but we don't ever get Agamafax in the speedrun anymore.
I managed to get some Agamafax in my last marathon run of this.
Yeah, but you only get them on random encounters. Agamafax are more of a thing for when you're just sitting there and bouncing back and forth between the 2 Agama tiles and Volcano.
True that. But it
Maybe
makes...
we need...
Hmm?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, because they're random, it makes them more special.
I do like that. I do love that theory. On the flip side of the coin, have we considered IFACTs yet?
Ooh. I haven't.
Alright, that was atrocious.
Yeah.
Alright, so through the miracle of blind luck and hopefulness, we've gotten out of Earth Cave a lot.
Yeah, so now that we've got the ruby, there is a titan in his tunnel to the west who is hungry.
Yep. And we need to feed this ruby to the titan so that we can go over to Sarda, report to Sarda that the vampire is dead and everything is okay and our journey is over.
Yeah, Sarda, of course, being a sage, will finally give us that sweet, sweet reward that the King of Corneria skimped out on.
Yep, and then, of course, we'll talk to Sarda, and then, time will be shortly thereafter, because we're near the end of the run, because, again, we've saved Melvin 5.
Yeah, and, that's how we light all 4 crystals, right?
Wait, we have to light all 4 crystals?
Yeah, didn't you read the opening title crawl?
No, we're having technical issues. Nobody told me about this.
Well, hi. Yeah, that actually happened. We have these crystals that we need to light up, and if I look at my menu, we haven't lit any of them yet.
So, we're not done.
Not done, but at least we're done with Earth Cave. Because we'll talk to Sarda, and he, being a sage, will light up the orb for us, or the... No, we have to go back to Earth Cave.
No, Sarda's gonna get us out of this one, right?
I mean, he gave us an Earth Rod. I think we have to take that back to Earth Cave.
I hate this so much. Earth Cave is terrible.
But in all seriousness, welcome to the original Double Dip dungeon, where you, in the NES version, there was no such thing as an emergency exit, and there is no way to get the exit or warp, known here as teleport spells, before going into Earth Cave. So, you have to walk in and then you have to walk out. And it's awful.
Yep, so just for the plot, Sarda basically tells us, hey, Vampire wasn't actually the cause of the problems. You need to go deeper. You need my walking stick to get into the lower regions of the Earth Cave. Some people call it the walking stick. It's more of a crowbar. Because there's a big old earth plate that is protecting the feet of the earth down below.
Really convenient that Sarda the Sage just happens to have the Earth Rod for the Earth Plate in the Earth Cave.
That's a lot of earth.
But then again, I guess that's what happens when you're a sage. You just, get the powers of coincidence.
Yep. So, do we remember how we were talking about RNG earlier when it comes to spellcasting?
I remember.
So, are we all ready for the absolute worst bit of spell RNG in the game?
No. Emphatically no.
So, one of the negative outcomes that we have planned for at this point in time is that at the bottom we are going to fight Lich. And if you've ever played the Final Fantasy I randomizer, you'll know within the randomizer community that we have about zero respect for Lich. But those of us in the Final Fantasy speedrunning community basically have an infinite amount of respect for Lich. Because on a bad roll against Lich, Lich has a 25% chance to cast spells, and Lich does not hold back. Lich opens up with Ice 2, which at this point in the game has a chance to kill both of our red mages, even at 150 hit points, which will wipe the run.
Sorry, my Jesus was 8-pack of gargoyles ambushing me. So that's fun. But yeah, unlike, say, the PSP version, where that getting Blizzard is just a run-ender, for us, we're saving, resetting, and taking as many attempts as it takes to get through. Because if we can get a couple temper stacks on the fighter before that Blizzard comes down, we'll be in a good spot.
So yeah, we're going to try our best here to get down to the bottom of Earth Cave. Lots of saves, lots of resources spent, whatever it takes.
Yeah, and of course, this dive especially is just a game of spending time versus resources to get to the bottom so that you can take on Lich effectively. So I'm trying to be fairly conservative with a lot of my spellcasting, because I want to make sure that I have a lot of that MP left over for dealing with Lich.
Yeah, we don't need a ton of MP for Lich, thankfully. We only need about probably 40 or 50 on each of our casters. Enough for the White Mage to throw a couple of Cure 2s, and we certainly need enough for a volley of Tempers or 2, which is only 10 MP from the Red Mages.
Yeah. But yeah, managing that White Mage's MP, especially as we run into trash encounters that like to beat us up, can be a bit of a challenge. Luckily, we're getting a couple of nice preemptives. And then Pisco Demons.
Nobody likes Pisco Demons.
Alright, we wave the crowbar over the earth plate, and it vanishes.
And by wave, we mean we use it to leverage the thing, and then we smack it, and it breaks because we've got, we got no patience for this. We got a fiend to kill.
Mm-hmm. And this floor, I personally save scum to heck and back, because this floor's nasty.
It's like floor 3, but longer.
Mm-hmm. And hey, an ambush by zombies with stun touch. That's fun. And not something I instantly reset out of.
You instantly reset out of it, though.
Yes.
But you're not salty, right?
Oh, no, I'm fine. Like, honestly, that's what I expect from these encounters on this floor.
I expect everything to be terrible.
And the White Mage gets us away.
Right on cue, the Red Mage gets para-touched instantly.
Luckily, the bottom floor is nothing to write home about.
Yeah, if we're still level 14, we consider taking that Troll and Minotaur fight there, but since we've already got our 15th level, we are very happily going to just bail out of that big encounter. But single Troll, well, we're going to kill single Troll, so...
Yeah. It's easy, and I know it's going to die rather than having to worry about the RNG of running away. My last potion on that Red Mage for the hopes of surviving a Blizzara.
Yep, want party to be at or as close to full as is possible, because, again, we want to maybe, hopefully, possibly attempt to survive a Blizzara here. But this is where the Temper spell really starts to come into play, because we absolutely need to start landing Tempers on the fighter. If the fighter takes the turn first, we'll see why.
3 hits, 27 damage. Lich has 1200.
Flex.
And of course, we can't just rely on spellcasting, because as you can see, the Diara is doing about 100 damage.
Yep, Fire 2s will do about 75 to 80, so it would take us too long.
Oh, nice. Both Red Mages live. Yep,
Hooray! Yep, Blizzard does around 140 damage usually, so 150 should be enough. But I've seen it roll higher, which is really annoying.
Yeah. I mean, there is a range of damage it can fall within.
Yep. And the only character we care about at this point with his, or I guess her, there, many stacks of temper. The Light Warriors, or whatever gender you want them to be, everybody, don't forget that eternal truth, is that we don't care about the mages anymore. We only care about the fighter with the billion temper stacks up. If the fighter survives, we're good.
And so, you remember how we were talking about these crystals? Well, here's the first one.
As we had some hashtag necessary casualties there.
I mean, that's what Phoenix Downs are for. Just ask Garrus.
It's not really too soon for that one anymore, honestly.
No, it's not.
I mean, I was gonna make a back in my day joke, but I guess I wasn't on it enough there. But back in my day, you know, you can only raise with a mage, and it was a level 5 spell, so you never got enough charges of it. And it raised you to 1 HP, not that Phoenix Downs don't do that.
And to cast it, you had to go uphill both ways to Melmond.
Yeah, it was the worst. Smilefires, in the original version, we were lighting the orbs. But in all the remakes, of course, to keep it consistent with the Final Fantasy lore and legacy, they are now crystals.
So what are orbs except round crystals?
Alright, my mind's blown. I'm good, I'm out. I'm good. I'm good, I had it. I'm good.
And so now we are leaving Melmond. We'll be back here again twice. But for now, we bid it adieu.
Heck off, Melmond. No one likes you.
Wow, rude.
You know I'm right.
I mean, true, but you could have at least let it, you know, fade into the distance a little more. Don't gotta say it in earshot.
Ooh, land lobsters.
Land lobsters that hit like trucks and will still poison you. Yeah, for those of you keeping score at home, in the original NES game, we had scorpions like we have here, and then when we get down to the water elemental dungeon, because that's how Final Fantasy do, we ran into what were called lobsters. Here, the remakes, they have redubbed those as sea scorpions for reasons that are completely beyond me.
Basically, it's total garbage. Lobsters are the best. The renaming is the worst. We love lobsters. Go Team Lobster. What?
Nothing. I didn't say anything.
I heard you sigh.
That wasn't saying anything, that was sighing.
So, we've made it to beautiful Crescent Lake, the prettiest town in the entire game. And while we're here, like I said, we're going to spend all of that hard-earned money. We bought a bunch of Phoenix Downs, we bought a bunch of Ethers, 31 to be exact. We grabbed a couple of bucklers, a shield, and some armor for the fighter and red mages to keep the party well defended. And now we're going to go over here to the Circle of Sages, which once you pop the canal, you can technically go here, but they tell you that they won't help you until you've killed Lich. But since we have, they give us a tiny boat.
Yeah, and they tell us to go into the dungeon of Fire the Volcano and kill the next fiend. We'll get to that. We're going to do a few more errands before that happens, because we're RPG heroes, and why wouldn't we do our side quests first?
Yep. With our current ship and canoe now, we do have access to 3 different locations in the world right now as our next options. We could go to the volcano like the Circle of Sages want us to, but that's a bad idea. We're not doing that. We could go to Ice Cave, which has a rock in it.
A very nice rock, might I add.
It is absolutely pretty. It is probably the most beautiful rock in the world. And also, like Leggy had mentioned before, when you leave Ice Cave, you leave as a god. We're not going there either. So where are we headed?
We are headed all the way to the other side of the world. To this place, the secret place that you're not supposed to know about yet if you're playing casually, called Castle Ordeals. Which, you know, for those of you keeping score at home, is definitely a Kingdom Hearts level.
Leggy, no.
Leggy, yes.
I can't stop her. She's become too powerful.
Anyway, to enter Castle Ordeals, or in this version, the Citadel of Trials, we need that crown that Astos was trying to take.
Which, of course, in the normal plotline, there's absolutely no way to get here without having the crown in your inventory anyways. So it should not be a problem, but you still have to talk to Crown Guy there, otherwise he won't let you.
Yeah, and he does specifically and explicitly mention that the crown is why he is letting you in the front door. Of course,
so
you aren't supposed to come here till much, much later, so the enemies are a little rough.
Cool, so we're really here for 4 things, though. There's only 4 things we care about in this place.
One of them is definitely not this Minotaur zombie, but rather a new sword.
The second thing that we're here for is we're going to get our hands on a prettier bracelet for our White Mage.
The third thing we're here for is a random drop. Maybe. There's about a 1% chance of actually getting it.
And the fourth thing that we're going to get is a pair of very nice gloves that we never wear.
Ah, yes. You ever take your gloves out of your drawer at the beginning of winter and they're just all clingy and static shocky?
Yeah, that actually happened this morning when I threw my gloves on to go outside.
These gloves take that to the next level. Specifically, in the NES version, these were known as the Zeus gauntlets. In this version, they are just called the gauntlets. And what they allow us to do is cast Thundara upon use.
Right. The other 2 things we have just grabbed there, though, we grabbed that ruby armlet, which is mage armor that is more armored than then the silver bracelet. So that's why we're now able to move the white mage up into slot number 2, because white mage is usually going to lead the way in hit points over the red mages. Now has more armor than both of them as well. And we grab the ice sword, which is the second best sword we're going to get on this run.
Mm-hmm. And, oh god, full party mind blast.
Hope you saved recently.
I did. I saved right after those horned devils.
Yep, sorcerers are absolutely the least dangerous enemy in the game. They literally have 1 strength. They can only hit for 1 damage no matter how much armor you have.
However, they do have, that full party stun that they can cast.
Alright, but it's going to take them forever to kill you at 1 hit point to swing. It's going to be fine.
So, you know how we talk about how some enemies can inflict status effects when they connect with their attacks? We mostly try to avoid the stun touch, but some enemies can inflict things like sleep touch or dark touch. Well, one of the status effects in this game is just death. Mind Flayers will just one-shot kill you out of nowhere if they connect.
And they hit up to 3 times per swing, so even though those 3 hits are going to hit for literally 3 solid damage on your party, that is also 3 chances for that light warrior who was struck by the staff to just drop dead on the spot.
So for those of you who have horrifying and awful memories of, say, the ice cave as a kid, that's probably one of the major reasons why.
Sometimes if we need a little bit of additional grind, we'll pick up a couple of more zombie dragon packs there, but obviously with the levels and gear and gold that we have right now, we're going to take our rat tail of all the things in the world.
Yeah, it's just this, stinky rat tail that we got as our reward for clearing the trials. Magic is weird, says the party of mostly mages.
I mean, even mages know that magic is weird.
Honestly, I think that's why they can do magic. They've come to accept the weirdness.
Yeah, so now we're gonna head back across the world. We're gonna head back around to the Crescent Lake area, and we're gonna hop over to Ice Cave this time around. We're gonna go get that nice rock and use this ice sword to leave as god.
Mm-hmm. Assuming we don't get... assuming we stop getting ambushed at some point by random wildlife of the sea. Shoutouts to the Peninsula of Power, that's the only time you'll see that.
For those of us who are not as well versed with the Final Fantasy gameplay, the Peninsula of Power is actually a place that you see that it sort of juts upward, is that it catches encounters from the North Continent, which is far later in the game, so the enemies there are much harder. But in some versions of old speedruns, and also the randomizer, you can use that area to potentially jumpstart your party if you have a way to kill either zombie Minotaur zombies or frost wolves or giants or the occasional tyro. Interestingly enough.
Mm-hmm.
Hello there.
Hello.
Do I have time to plug the marathon and the benefit? What we benefit?
By all means.
Thank you. So, welcome everyone who's not been here before. This is NGA, which is No Glitches Allowed Marathon, where we run glitchless categories and no major glitches categories. And we're currently benefiting Go Rescue, which is a company that, or a foundation that helps animals get off the street, get treatment, and find new homes. If you want to help us support them, you can use !donate to donate this cause. All donation can also go towards incentives. We currently got a few more left that would like to get met. Currently missing $7 for the Lost Hobo King DLC for stacking. And we also got Dust and Elusive Tail with use percent till $25 to be met. You can find all the incentives with incentive. Thank you.
And thank you. That sounds like a really good cause. As we make our way down the river system of the Crescent Lake area, which is full of just bad encounters. They hit disproportionately hard from what I would expect to see from this stage in the game. Which means that if you get ambushed, or you just can't run away, they'll just eat through any one of your mages.
It's a very unfortunate end.
But now we're into the coolest cave, I'd argue. The Ice Cave. And just like Earth Cave, we've got frustratingly annoying stun touches. We also have everyone's favorite Pisco Demons. This is also the second home of Mind Flayers. Speaking of those Pisco Demons, luckily, they don't resist thunder, so we're going to put those gauntlets to good use.
Basically, this place is going to be really terrible a lot of the time, because a lot of the, especially lower down encounters, are incredibly dangerous.
Yeah, for instance, we have Frost Dragons, which, despite being in one of those, trap tiles, they also appear just randomly wandering around, going to the fridge, watching TV or whatever. And those are nasty. You also have Dark Wizards, who look a lot like Astos, and they too have a spell list. They open with Fyraga, which is fun.
Yeah, they're also not fun, as there's a Fyraga will still wipe your party at this point.
Yeah, luckily, I feel like I get some pretty good luck on Dark Wizards, and that more often than not, we get the drop on them, so text boxes that pop up, at least when I've played this, more often than not say Preemptive Strike.
As Ice Caves die because this one looks pretty smooth so far, though.
Yeah.
Only had to reset a bunch.
Yeah, we've only had to reset a bunch and not a metric hecton, so, that's pretty good. So we're gonna swing up here. We're gonna grab a fire sword from the ice cave.
We're going to preemptive on this Dark Wizard because, heck.
Yeah. 2 for 2 on Dark Wizard preemptives. Shoutouts to getting ambushed by white dragons.
Yeah, white dragons are the worst. They hit like trucks. They can either choose to melee for around 100 to 120 damage, or they can choose to just blizzard the party for about 80 to 100 to the entire group. So neither of those are very fun options to see. So if they ambush us, we're just gonna...
Yeah. And Bloodbones are being jerks and not letting me run, but I finally get away. No. Yeah, if we get any sort of undead ambush, that's an automatic reset.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see, like, packs of 4 down here. It's almost always going to be... You know, there's some 4s, but it's almost always going to be 7s to 9s. And if you get ambushed by them, yeah, you don't even waste the time, because 7 units paralyzed touching your group means that by the time all of those attack animations are done, so are you.
And, I mean, maybe you're still standing, but you're not moving.
I mean, you ever see Night of the Living Dead? Because that's where you're at.
Alright, gonna grab a few chests before I drop down. That ice shield's gonna be a nice upgrade for the fighter. And now we beat up an eye.
And we're going to kill just the one and leave, right?
I mean, oh, he's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, so I hope everyone brought their parka and sleeping bag, because we're going to be down here in this frozen hellhole for a little bit.
Yeah, for about another 12 to 15 minutes, we're going to be here removing these eldritch abominations from the ecosystem. Shoutouts to eldritch abominations, actually.
Yeah, and so we're going to be here until we hit some very specific breakpoints on our party. We want to see level 22 on both of our red mages, and a level 31 on our white mage. The 22 on the red mages ensures that they will learn level 5 magic, which gives us access to things like Firaga and the teleport spell, which we will use to save a lot of dungeon movement later. Getting 31 on the white mage doesn't quite give us access to level 7 magic, but it sets us up to learn level 7 magic when we come out of the Sea Shrine.
Yep, because we're going to eventually need level 33 on that White Mage to learn Healaga, which is an AoE healing spell that heals for about 200 to 220 damage.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need it for a ton of stuff, but we do need it for the last 2 bosses.
Yeah. And, like, everything else it's optional, but for those it is strictly mandatory.
And we're going to be healing and saving pretty liberally through this because of Thundara coming out from the off.
Yeah, and also the fact that on the off step, whenever we step off of the eye tile, we can still run into random encounters. Such as that lone sorcerer that ambushed us.
The good news is, though, is that we are going to come out of this place so flush with cash that we're almost going to have enough money to buy everything else that we need in this run.
Mm-hmm. And so at this point, one of my red mages has enough levels on him, so we're just going to try to get that red mage killed off because of how experience is distributed in this and a lot of other Final Fantasy games.
Yep. The eye encounter on its own is worth about 3,200 experience points. But since it's getting divided across 4 characters, that slows down the leveling of the White Mage, the character that we really care about.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the White Mage cannot kill eyes on her own because, you know, she's a White Mage, not a murder boat. So we're going to end up leveling up a second character, and the second character is always preferably going to be the...
Yeah. There's a couple of different strategies that people use for this grind. I personally prefer to keep a second red mage around. Just because that helps ensure that when we get to some later fights, such as Chaos, we'll be able to have at least one of the red mages still kicking by the end of that. Come on, where's Thundara?
Yeah. I mean, I also prefer to try to get both red mages dead once the second one's around level 24 or 25, and I get my catch-up experience in Sea Shrine.
Mm-hmm.
If we're on the Black Belt route, which is the more advanced and way less marathon-safe route, you can get away with a party at around level 24, which shortens up this grind immensely, but we're not going to really have that luxury here.
Yeah. And so now it's no sleep till 31.
And why do these eyes carry so much money with them? Well, when you're in Eldritch Horror from another plane, maybe there's a lot of gold over there, and you bring it with you because, you know, it reminds you of home. You know, and home's a nice place, honestly, even if you're in Eldritch Horror.
I want that t-shirt now. Home's a nice place, even if you're an Eldritch Horror.
That would be a pretty great t-shirt, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm. course, if anyone puts it up, you know, I expect a cut of the proceeds now. I'm watching you, chat. Okay, there's 25. At this point, I'm not really worried about using ethers, because when we're out of here, we're going to have a bunch of money, so why not spend it? One of the things we're going to spend that money on is 99 ethers minus the number we're currently carrying, because you can only carry up to 99 of a given consumable.
Yeah, but we're going to make sure that we have enough of literally everything to get through this game.
Yeah. Yeah, after this upcoming shopping trip, we're only going to be stopping 2 more times to buy things.
Yeah, and most of it's going to be in one big world-spanning shopping trip, basically, right?
Well, I mean, after that one.
Oh yeah, then we buy armor.
Yeah.
I always forget you route a little bit differently than I do, so I try to do all my shopping at one time.
Yeah, I try to too, but we don't actually make it to Gaia until after Volcano.
Yeah, that's fair. You do south side, then north side, which is fine as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's basically 2 major routes. Everybody is what we're actually discussing here. Is there's 2 really major routes for how we run this game. There's Ice Cave first and Ordeals first in GBA.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to check which one Nikki Noel's world record is, but I know Tokuhiro runs Ordeals first. Forsyth runs Ice first. So there's still sort of a lot of up in the air between like the top 5 and 6 runners about which is faster. Getting the Ice Sword helps your grind immensely, but on the flip side of the coin, some routes actually will let you skip Ordeals, and so, you know, if you can route in an Ordeal skip, which requires certain party compositions, you can kind of get away with that.
Yeah, for instance, I believe Dragon Darch's video on speedrun.com is doing his Black Mage route, which skips Ordeals. Which is actually the route I tried to learn for this game first.
Yeah, that route is a little bit difficult because of the... If you're complaining about the squishiness of the red mages as much as I do, which is a little bit, tiny bit. I'm not salty, I swear. Okay, I am salty. I am salty whenever my red mages have 40 hit points leaving Elfland. Like, let's be real here. Right, is that the Black Mage route does not get teleport because you need to promote to get teleport, but in exchange saves the entire Ordeals dive, which is the hike across and then going all the way through Ordeals and all the encounters there.
Yeah, plus you do have that, you know, nice benefit of Black Mages being Black Mages, being able to nuke things a lot harder with AoE, meaning that some mob encounters become a lot more trivial.
Yeah, intellect is actually a statistic in this game, unlike it was in the original, that matters because your magic damage scales. So where Leggy was struggling to kill things with Fire 2 earlier in the run, Black Mages don't struggle with that. They're natural-born pyromaniacs, because that's what they do.
Yeah, and you'll notice that sort of scaling when we get into places like Sea Shrine, and you'll have Blank, who's currently taking a nap, cast Thundara, versus my other 2 mages using gauntlets and casting Thundara, and there will be a large discrepancy in the amount of damage that's done. There's 30.
Yeah, but ends up being that the other thing that we're sort of chattering about a little bit in chat is that there's 3 different major parties that people run for PB attempts on this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the safest of the 3 parties. It's also a little bit slower than most of the parties, but like there are people who have sub 240 with this group, so it is possible to really post a really incredible time with this party.
Yeah.
And it's pretty new player friendly as well, which is really nice. The second route is Dragon Dark's Black Mage's route. Dragon Dark is working on some stuff in the background as well on that in the interim, so if he comes out with tech at Limit Break, I'll talk to him about it, hopefully. But Black Mages, it does increase your power a fair bit, but on the flip side of the coin, of course, there's some safety that you don't get. Like Lich, for example, will just eat your run, because your Black Mages will never have 150 hit points going in there.
And so, one of the things that route can do is, take a little extra time and grab some extra safeties before then.
Yeah, so there's some options there. And then there's 2 different Black Belt parties. There is Black Belt Fighter, Red Mage. You'll note that party does not have access to Hilaga. It makes up for it by being really good at the 15 puzzle. Because in the 15 puzzle, if you can finish the 15 puzzle in under 30 seconds, you can get Mega Elixirs, which heal your entire party to full. And you can use those to, be your one-shot disposable white mages.
Mm-hmm. Which basically, at that point, gives you a prayer of tanking chaos while you do some initial buffing.
Yep. And your black belt does not need out-of-control levels like the black belt needs in NES. So that run only usually grinds to about 24 to 25, so the grind is much faster as well. Mm-hmm. Plus that route skips ordeals on top of everything else. There's 2 different routes of it. There's a safer version, which is Black Belt Fighter, Red Mage, White Mage. So you still get the White Mage, so you still have to grind a little bit harder, but you just take the Black Belt and White Mage solo to 31.
And there's the Fyraga from the Dark Wizards. Off an ambush.
Right, which is way less bad that we get it here, because at least now we've got some levels on the party, but catching 2 or 3 of those is pretty bad.
Yeah, if there was only one, I probably would have just taken it, but given that it was a pack of 4, there's no way I was walking away from that.
Yeah, it's very interesting, is that this game has actually picked up a few new runners recently, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's not something that I think was expected, but, a couple of old runners have kind of come back to it, and a couple of new runners have sort of showed up and started really crashing the leaderboards, so it's really awesome.
Mm-hmm. Arguably, I'm one of those new runners, having only picked this game up within the last year. And if you check out the speedrun.com leaderboard, you'll notice that my time started off real bad. I think my initial PB was somewhere on the order of like 4.5 hours. So if you like this game and you're like, hey, maybe I could try to play this game fast, I highly encourage you to do so.
Yeah, as sort of a learning experience RPG speedrun, this is actually a really good one. Because the mechanics are not super complicated. It's all turn-based, so there's no real, severe mechanical skill required. It's just, learn the route, learn the maps, learn which chests to open. Right? And then it's just a matter of judgment calls. Which encounters do I take? Which ones do I run from? Which ones do I reset out of? And sort of manipulating the luck that way as best you can.
Mm-hmm. And, there is, some deeper stuff you can do once you start getting a better understanding of, how your party statistics evolve over the course of a game, etc., etc. But you can go very far by just, having good routing and knowing when and where to go where. You know, unlike later Final Fantasies, there's no ATB manipulation to worry about. It's also just extraordinarily pretty. Like, say what you will about some other parts of this game, but this one just looks really good. So we've had our water boat for a little bit. Now it's time for Skyboat.
Heck yeah, Skyboat. We've earned this one. But yeah, now the world is our oyster. We've got a big pile of money. We got a new ride. Let's do this thing.
Yeah. So now we got cash. We got a ride. Let's go, you know, flex on the townspeople a little bit.
Are we gonna throw gold pieces at them from our airship? Because that's mean.
Oh, is that what making it rain entails?
I mean, in this world, yeah. Like, literally just throwing money at people. But no, we are about to... If you're going to see that we're going to start this with 265,000 gil. By the time we're done shopping, we're going to be destitute again.
Mm-hmm. But first things first, we're going to sell some excess equipment. And buy a couple more gold needles. Buy more antidotes than we'll ever need. Then pick up the best spell in the game and Blizzara.
Ah, haste. It makes you go fast. But you'll notice that this is a turn-based game, and going fast really doesn't have any value. But what it does is, if you've been noticing that our fighters' number of hits has been going up from 3 to 4 to 5 recently as they've been leveling up, well, what the fast spell does is let's double that number. So instead of going from 3 to 4 to 5, it would have gone from 6 to 8 to 10, and, stacked up with a bunch of tempers, fast just makes those tempers twice as good. Haste makes makes everything work really well here.
Yeah, haste is... Between haste and temper, our fighter is going to be a boss-killing machine. Next stop on our Grand World Tour, we're going to go say hi to some dragons. Hi, dragons! I'm going to give the dragon a rat tail, because that's the normal thing to do.
And the dragon's actually going to give us a reward that we can use. The dragon is going to give us ultimate power to destroy all of our enemies. Actually, no, not really.
Well, I mean, the dragon's going to unlock our potential for ultimate power.
We get nicer hats.
And the ability to hold better stuff. And learn teleport.
And nicer hats?
I mean, yes. The hats are strictly better.
In the GBA version, it's hard to see, but in the PSP version, it's much clearer that the White Mage gets a headband,
which is pretty exciting. Like, the White Mage headband is really good.
Yep, no more cowl or hood, but the headband is very powerful. Actually, it still has the cowl, just doesn't wear it overhead anymore. But still.
I choose to believe that turning in the rat tail gave the White Mage a spa day, and now they're comfortable showing off their gorgeous hair.
That seems legitimate. We'll go with that.
Because have you seen White Mage hair?
I mean, I strive to have hair that good, honestly.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna pick up some spells from Melmond. And our last stop on this shopping trip is in Crescent Lake again. Hi, we're back! Finally! Where we're gonna pick up that massive stack of ethers and just a few more Phoenix Downs for safety.
Yep,
So-
and the good news is we're not completely broke yet, but a little bit later we're going to need to have another basically 100,000 lying around to buy supplies in Gaia later, so we are way, way ahead on money route, honestly, at this point.
Oh, why am I going into the armory?
The old randomizer reflex is kicking in, I see.
I mean, I don't even go in that door in the randomizer.
Oh, you went in that door. That's weird. No one uses that door. That door is useless.
I know, right?
Alright, cool. We're in Volcano. We're expected to go here right after Earth, so we're expected to come in here at like level 17. We're level 31.
Yeah, we might be a little stronger than necessary. But it's here. It's convenient just to, check it off the bucket list.
Yep. And in a thing which is more meme than strictly necessary, interestingly enough, like you'll appreciate this, is when Tokuhiro in his runs grabs the wizard staff from behind, or grabs the wizard staff in his route. And I forget where the wizard staff is. I'd have to look it up because I don't remember where it is. But he grabs the wizard staff and uses it to confuse Marilith.
Well, I mean, yes, that is a very good meme. But sadly, I'm not doing that because I, too, don't actually know where the wizard staff is.
So instead, we're going to patch the party up to full. The white mage is going to start generating a crippling ether addiction. It starts now. And we are going to go and fight the snake-tailed, six-armed goddess Marilith here.
Also known as the Danger Noodle of Fire.
Wait, is she really known as that now?
I mean, that's what I call her.
I mean, you're the runner. That's all that matters.
Fair.
But she has many arms and many swords. And, again, normally she'd hit hard enough to actually be scary, but we're gonna... You'll see that the fighter's already doing 135 damage without any boosts. Once you see the haste and the temper hit and start these buffs up, you're gonna see that Marilith is not long for this one.
Yes, there's, 10 hits, 600 damage, no big deal. And at this point, it's just a matter of holding A.
Yeah, our gal Marilith only has 1,440 hit points as it is, so the next swing should be more than enough to,
The next swing for 1099.
It's a good swing. It's a solid swing. Look at those buffs just start stacking up with that haste. As you can see, this is how we're going to kill all of the bosses going forward.
Mm-hmm.
White Mage will be constantly healing to make sure everybody's okay. Red Mages will be constantly buffing to make sure that the fighter can hit for maximum potential. And the fighter will hit for maximum potential.
Yeah, and given the way that the Black Belt hit and damage progression works in this game, you can see how that rapidly becomes, Fist of the North Star levels.
But we don't have a monk.
True. I'm talking about other routes. we fly to the nice mountain-locked town of Gaia, and our little fairy friend breaks out of her bottle.
Bye, fairy friend. We love you.
A ruby armlet and a bunch of protect rings.
Ruby armlet will let us shore up one of the red mages. We only need to buy one because we're going to get a diamond armlet in a little bit in the Sea Shrine. Protect rings are strictly necessary. They are, oddly enough, the best gauntlet item in the game. Plus, they give protection from death magic, which not super relevant in this context, but, you know, better safe.
Yeah. It's not usually relevant, but when it is, it's highly relevant. It's the real answer.
But yeah, so we are going to now go back to our fairy friend who we let free, and she's going to be super awesome to us, so we should be super awesome to the fairy.
She gives us Oxy Ale, which is a rock, I think? Unclear.
It is air dissolved in water in a bottle.
Regardless, what it does is it lets us breathe underwater, which is super important.
Think diving canister.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to use that right now.
Yeah. Instead, we're going to go take a look at my favorite part of the Jungle Book cruise from Disneyland, the backside of water.
Getting back to the plot for a moment, you know, if you talk to the right people in this game, they'll tell you that there's a robot back here.
Like I said, you know, we're in the Jungle Book cruise. There's animatronics all over.
Clay golems aren't animatronic, they're golems. Wait, they have poison touch?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
And in fact, in the Black Mage route, you want to kill off your fighter here, and getting poisoned by clay golems is a great way to do it.
Huh. Weird.
Today, Debbie learned.
Randomizer really mucks with your ability to remember what everything does.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to say is I'm making excuses.
Yes. No, I understand. So, I know you've been playing a lot of Randomizer, but Nuke hits for a lot of damage.
It does admittedly solve a ton of problems.
Mm-hmm. Look, you kill one clay golem and now suddenly all of them are after you. I don't understand.
That kind of seems like a you problem.
I mean, to be fair, I am the one playing the video game, so I think it is a me problem.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not a me problem.
Here are the other jerk birds, and those red birds are the reason we have our pro rings, because their gaze is death. Well, I guess they aren't the reason, but they are one of the reasons.
I mean, it's a pretty big reason, honestly.
Mm-hmm. And here we get a little bit of cash, which isn't that important. But more importantly, we get 2 critical pieces of equipment.
The cutest of hats.
And the defense sword.
Right, the defense sword is just a straight up upgrade over the ice saber for us at this point on the fighter. Also, will get to 6 hits if it hasn't already within a level or two, so will greatly enhance our damage because it has a higher hit rate.
Mm-hmm.
It ends up being the last weapon that we grab in the game for said fighter. And of course, the ribbon is the cutest hat of them all. It provides... you can't run from ice gigas.
Yeah, Encounter started, I hit the auto run button.
I know that feeling, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Alright, we're already at 6 hits though, which is good.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like, oh god darn it. Why did I even bother trying to run? I know I can't run from that.
Yeah, that's how...
Admittedly, that's one of the things that, just happens in this game because you run from so many things. You actually my notes mark down what the unrunnable encounters are because I forget half the time.
Yeah, I've got them committed to memory at this point, so you run enough, you remember everything eventually.
Mm-hmm. Well, more importantly, you don't run enough.
Well, no, I could practice an awful lot more, but I just haven't had the wherewithal recently. Also, other things going on for me as community coordinator.
Well, no, I mean, like, you run into enough encounters that you can't run from enough, and you start to learn.
Oh, I see. You were trying to make a pun.
No, I was just trying to mention that, hey, I just tried to run from an unrunnable. Anyway, we're hanging out underwater now. There are sharks here. Sharks are fun to kill. I think that
we are going to...
Yeah, that one just dropped a worm killer.
Nice. That's money if you needed it.
Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah. It's always amusing to me to run into the enemies that drop, like, equipment for much earlier in the game. Now that I've upgraded literally all of my party members who can use swords past the ability to need that worm killer.
But yeah, we're going to be killing off encounters in here. There's a bunch of unrunnables that we care about, which would be ghosts, Sethagins, and water elemental. And we're also going to be killing any white shark packs that we run across here because they're worth enough experience to be completely worth our time so that we can get our white mage to 33.
Yeah, our white mage is currently 32, so we need to get that one last level, and we're hoping to get it off of white sharks, which are purple for some reason, and the unrunnable encounters we find.
Yep, white shark, big eye on the lower floors is really, really good. The Sahagin packs, which are unrunnable, this pack right here, 1 Sahagin Prince and 8 Sahagin Chief, it's unrunnable, and it's worth garbage for experience. We really don't want to see this pack if we can help it.
Yeah. But if we do see it, it's easy enough to kill. So at the very least, Sea Shrine doesn't have much in the way of encounters that make me mildly terrified, like some other dungeons do. And at this point, we are geared to the teeth. So...
Oh yeah, we're over-leveled and overconfident. It's the best.
What's that quote from Darkest Dungeons? Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
That's accurate.
That's speedrunning.
That's XCOM.
That's how Mafia works.
Nice.
So yeah, you can see that with the Thundaras, my higher level mages are doing about twice the damage output that my red mage who took a nap is. And of course, I hecked up momentarily, so we're going to teleport. Normally we teleport all the way back down, but I forgot to grab the diamond armlet here. And so now we're going to teleport all the way back down to that floor we came in on and start making our way over to the Fiend of Water Kraken.
Kraken, who gets an absolute ton of respect in the randomizer, and the randomizer community fears Kraken. Here in the Final Fantasy speedrunning community, we actually really don't care.
Yeah, part of that's due to how the stats have been rebalanced. Part of that's due to how our party is kind of disgustingly overpowered at the moment, but Kraken is known in the randomizer community for being able to just randomly one-shot party members with a single Kraken hug. In this, yeah, it hurts a bit, but it's nothing the white mage can't heal off.
Yeah, and it's very possible that, Blank will definitely still get one-shotted by Kraken by a wide margin, and it's possible that Cuckoo will also get one-shotted by Kraken, but it's a little bit less likely.
Mm-hmm.
But again, in the NES version, with the randomizer, the main randomizer is based upon, your reliance upon your white mage for recovery can be so heavy that if your white mage dies, that it can completely screw your run into the earth. On the flip side of the coin, though, here it's not a big deal. We've got Phoenix down.
Yeah. So here are those ghosts we were talking about.
Ghosts are some of the heaviest hitting enemies in the randomizer, but they're actually, or in the game, not just in the randomizer, but they're fairly low on health, which is nice. They'll usually die to a single spell.
As demonstrated. And so we have 2 more items we need to pick up before we go to Kraken. One of them is going to be our second ribbon, and the other one is the most powerful caster item in the game. Caster items being ones that, when used in combat, will cast a spell. That item in this is called the Giant's Glove, and it casts the spell Saber. Saber was initially broken in the NES game. It did nothing. But what it's supposed to do is give you an attack boost equal to about a temper and a half, and give you a slight accuracy boost. And what it means is that for some early stages of a bunch of fights, it allows our fighter to buff themselves. Meaning that we'll not only skip over attacking on the turns where the fighter will be doing garbage damage anyway, but also we'll be going even higher up into the stratosphere damage-wise.
Yeah, we're gonna, skipping those 3 for 27 swings that are very embarrassing and just amplifying our damage into the stratosphere fast enough to get through the very high hit point pools of the later fiends in this game is very important.
Yeah. For those of you keeping score at home, if you're familiar with the NES version, Chaos has 2,000 hit points. In this version, they just slapped a 0 onto the end of that.
So 0, 2,000.
The other end.
Oh. Wait, 2?
Never do math on Twitch.
Chaos does have 20,000 hit points in this version, and still has Cure 4.
Which, luckily, does not heal Chaos all the way. Instead, it only heals 9,999 hit points. So...
That's still potentially 3 to 5 swings worth of turns, which can be enough to get your party killed if your white mage runs out of resources.
True, but it is, not the full restore that it is in the NES version.
Alright, but now we've got our Giant's Gloves.
We've got our Giant's Gloves, we've got our level 33, so we don't need to worry about the Sharknado tile, which is the spot where we do our last minute grinding if we need just that little bit of extra oomph to get up to level 33.
Also, if we're very close to level 33, we can probably just catch it on the way down. If we leveled to 32 at the start and we just didn't get it yet because we've gotten this encounter 18 times.
Yeah.
But we absolutely have to have 33 because we don't want to come back to Onrak because it's a haul to get here. Log it before we leave. Go lobsters! Kill leggies. Wait, no, bad.
I mean, I realize you're still salty over that last randomizer race, but come on.
Oh, lobsters are not actively scary at this point in the game with the party at level 33 with actual armor in the non-randomized version, so we should be fine.
Yeah. It's not like they're lobsters with stun touch either. So yeah, mostly just making our way through the last floor of the Sea Shrine, and we're going to go say hi to the Kraken soon.
Yay, Kraken.
Gonna throw some heals down real fast. Save just in case. But if there is one thing I want to make sure that we point out, it's that Kraken has such a snazzy cape.
It's a really good cape.
Yeah, there's the one shot we were talking about.
Yeah, Kraken's just gonna go down there and flex on a red mage, because that's the only joy that he gets in this life.
The only... and the last.
It's very funny because Kraken has garbage spells, those like Lightning 2 and Ink, which just blinds people, but it does nothing.
Yeah. You'll notice that unlike previous times, when I swang this time, I just two-shot Kraken. And that's the power of having that extra Giant's Gauntlet. We take the turn off to get a little extra buffs on the fighter, and then things just die.
Well, we're going to lose a slight bit of time for menuing to get the red mage back on their feet.
Yeah, but I'm planning on using a cottage once we get outside anyway, so it's only a little extra time. There it is. And here it is, the spell that made all of that grind worthwhile, Healaga. Fun fact, you can teleport out of town.
Just don't try to teleport outside of the magic shop, because it will just put you right outside the magic shop, which is embarrassing.
Oh, I've done that before.
That has never happened to me before.
The first time it happened to me, I had to sit there and just, laugh for a little bit. Because, no, that's exactly what you'd expect it to do.
There's a little bit of gawking involved when I did that as well.
Mm-hmm. Was that
Wait, no! I've never done that.
I was gonna say, I feel like I remember you talking about doing it, but I don't remember seeing it.
You didn't see it. It's never actually happened.
So now we're going to stop off in Melmond for the final time for two things. The first, we're going to buy a bit more armor for the knight. And that's going to be the last thing we buy in this game. And then we're going to do the single most important thing you need to do in this run, and that's talk to Dr. Uni.
Ah, the good doctor.
Yeah. Dr. Uni teaches us to speak Lufenian, which is important because you can forget to talk to Dr. Uni and go all the way to Lefane. Needless to say, that would have been a bit of a time loss if you do that.
Yeah, let's not do that.
Hi Gaia, bye Gaia. And so we got that cube from the robot earlier. We haven't used it yet. That cube is the, I don't know, passcode for the teleporter inside the Mirage Tower. But we don't have... Sorry?
Maybe it gives it power, I don't know.
Unclear. Regardless, you can't use that teleporter without it. We're murder hobos, not engineers. But we still don't have the key to the front door of the Mirage Tower. And so we need to go talk to the enlightened Toga people of Lefane to get the chime that allows us to go in the front door.
Yep, and we're here. We've made it to the strange town of elves, and if we've been keeping up with the plot, which we haven't, this is where you'd find out that the elves are actually the descendants of the Sky Warriors, who built the airship and all of this mysterious technology in this world. And by mysterious technology, we mean Mirage Tower in the middle of the desert.
And the
and
airship.
and the airship, and that the Sky Warriors 2,000 years ago tried to stop this from happening.
And vanished. And no one's seen them since. There were 5 of
Right.
them, though.
Yeah, we have no idea what happened to them.
Well, in the meantime, the Mirage Tower used to be where those Sky Warriors lived, powered by their... I'm assuming it's Magitech. Or at least some flavor of magical technology. Until the Fiend of Air decided to show up and kick them the hell out. So we're gonna go kick her the hell back out again. Yeah, in addition to everything else, we're going to be grabbing our 2 last bits of equipment in this dungeon. We're going to get the Diamond Shield for the fighter, which is just, you know, a little bit of extra defense. And we're going to grab our 3rd and final ribbon that exists in the game.
Which we're going to put on the fighter, which is going to reduce the armor total, because the ribbon, of course, being an absolutely adorable scrap of cloth, doesn't really do much for physical defense. But we are going to make sure that our knight has that full elemental and magic protection that has already been afforded to our white mage, and our red mage that actually has hit points.
Yeah, though you might be doing some math on your hands and go, wait, there are 4 light warriors, but you said it's your 3rd and final ribbon. Yeah. Yeah, this game's mean like that.
Poor Blank. Not going to make it through this one. We're going to have to leave Blank to die.
I mean, you've been playing FF9. You should be used to that.
Actually too soon.
I'm a monster. Oh hey, we got a wild blue dragon for a change.
Your run has been blessed by Wild Blue Dragon, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Blue dragons are unrunnable, by the way, so Leggy is going to, reduce the dragon population by 1 more, sadly.
Yeah, when that animation took a hot second to play, I'm like, oh god, did I forget to talk to the robot? And so after we hunted all of the eyes out of Ice Cave, they decided to hide up here in the sky where, you know, they figured they'd be safe, you know. We're humans, we can't fly, right? Right?
Exactly.
Eyes are still unrunnable and we're going to murder them on sight, because they're still worth decent XP.
And there's still Elder Taurus who need to be sent back from whence they came. Yes, Canuck, the dragon armor reduces elemental damage, but doesn't give protection from instant death effects like Earthquake on Chaos, for example. And of course, also on the flip side of the coin, we'd have to go get the dragon armor, while would be an extra stop, basically, because the 2 items that we're going to grab are in the same room.
Where exactly is the dragon armor in vanilla again?
I want to say 3rd floor right side, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Nope. Actually, it's in Mirage Floor 2, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, and
And we're definitely not going there. That's way out of the way.
Yeah, like, Mirage Tower just has a lot of chests that, some of which have some really good stuff in them. It just takes too long to get there, and, like, if I could teleport out and get to a useful staircase, then maybe I could see it being useful. But given the way that the geometry is set up, it's just not worth it.
Maybe we should get the Vorpal next time.
Why would I pick up a piece of garbage?
Because it's on floor 1, it's easy to get.
That doesn't answer my question.
Because you want the challenge.
Anyway, back to things that matter. We're coming up to the other Bless RNG part of the run, because this is the part where I admit I have never seen Warmech in this game. Not in any of my casual playthroughs, not in any of my runs. If you want to make that happen, get your Bless RNGs in chat right now.
Why would you wish this upon yourself? That's foolish.
Because you can run away.
Wait, you're gonna try to make Warmech show up and then not even fight.
Sure, why not? That would have been hilarious.
Instead, you cross the Bridge of Destiny without a single encounter until the very last step. Go figure.
Yeah. No, really, it's my fault for not promising that I would take on any robot I saw. Anyway, shoutouts to Tiamat. She's going to go down exactly the same way we took out Kraken, except we're casting slightly stronger heal magic.
Aw, please don't kill the queen.
But thou must.
Ah. But thou must indeed.
Yeah. And so, going back to the dragon armor, if we get that, plus the Aegis shield, plus the protect ring, the fighter gets resistance to 6 of the 8 elements. Does not give time resistance, and I don't think it gives status resistance is the last one.
Yep.
Status resistance being kind of a non-issue, but that time resistance does come into play against Lich too.
Or we could just sacrifice a red mage on the altar of death as always.
As always.
Alright, Tiamat destroyed, 4 orbs, 4 crystals lit, we're done. Everything's good. With all the crystals lit, we can save the world now by...
Right, now we have to go do that save the world part.
Oh! Wait, world's not saved yet?
Yeah, you said now that we've lit the 4 crystals, we can go save the world, right?
Yeah, I figured we just go, like, hold the crystals up, like, at Cornelia Castle or something, and then their light shines upon the earth and we're good.
I mean, you got half of that right? We're definitely going to go hold the crystals up. Not over Corneria Castle, but... Where is my Phoenix down? Menuing, why is menuing hard?
You know why menuing is hard.
Because it is.
Because you've been running this game for 3 hours, and for weeks now, and menuing gets no easier.
No, it's just because menuing is straight up impossible. But hey, y'all remember being here? You remember seeing these 5 bats?
Wait, there's exactly 5 bats? That seems very coincidental.
Yeah. So if you talk to these bats, now that you've lit the 4 crystals, you will learn that they are in fact those Sky Warriors. We're not going to talk to them because talking to bats is slow.
Yeah, that's a time loss, and this is a speed run, not a slow run, so we're here to kill chaos, darn it.
Yeah. And so now I'm going to save Scum across this floor.
Because darn near everything here is either unrunnable or incredibly dangerous. We're really hoping to see, like, single worms and zombie dragons, and that's just never gonna happen. Oh, hey, look, a single worm.
Yeah, but the real reason we're saves coming across this floor is that there are white dragons that show up in packs of 4 a lot.
Like those, that we reset out of instantly because we want absolutely no part of them at all whatsoever, because they are a giant waste of time.
Yeah. However, purple worms are, our new eyes. Fairly squishy and worth a ton of experience. Second floor here is where we can see the zombie dragons. Third floor here, we're also going to save Scum across. Black Knights are okay. Kind of annoying, but okay.
They hit fairly hard, but they're generally pretty easy to run from, so we're okay with that. Chimeras will waste our time with Blaze. It doesn't do a ton of damage, but it just wastes a lot of time. Zombie dragons, we're just going to mercilessly slaughter them and move on.
And then there's the reason we're saves coming on the third floor. Green dragons.
Green dragons are literally the worst.
Yeah. If you're running Black Mage route, you can kill them with ice, because your Black Mages do enough damage with their AoE magic. Here, we do not have that luxury.
And green dragons also, as their first attack, oftentimes will use poison gas, which does AoE non-elemental damage. It's prevented by a ribbon, which is it's reduced greatly by the ribbon. But guess what?
What?
There's only 3 ribbons in this game, and 4 light warriors.
Well, I mean, still better than the Sky Warriors, because there were 5 of those.
Yeah, and they probably only had 1 ribbon, because they probably only had 2 ribbons, because one of them got left in Sky Tower.
Mm-hmm. So hey, here's another eye. Why don't we grind these for a little bit?
That's no ordinary eye. That is a death eye. Which I always forget is undead, so I never remember to cast Dialga on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's an upgraded version of the original eye, except undead, so it must be better than the original one, right?
I mean, how do we define better?
Well, not in terms of XP or gil, because it gives exactly 1 of each.
Oh yeah, this is terrible. We don't want any part of this garbage.
Yeah.
Cool, we're gonna grab one last treasure chest here, because it has an elixir in it. And you might ask yourself, hey, didn't Leggy sell 2 elixirs at the start of the run? Why didn't she just hang on to one? Well, because there's 1 in this easily accessible chest here, 1. And 2, we're gonna need it later.
And 3, I needed the money at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the Light Warriors had student loans to pay off, and those are expensive.
Mm-hmm. And so with that, we summon the power of rock.
Wait, really? Are you serious?
You remember that loot we got at the very beginning of the game?
No, that was like 3 hours ago. My memory doesn't go back that far.
Well, here's where it comes into play. We have our jam session and unlock the ability to go deeper into the Temple of Fiends, or as this game calls it, the Chaos Shrine.
Wait, with the power of rock.
Yeah, we play an awesome loot solo.
Yeah, that seems legit.
To be totally TBH, I have no idea why that works the way it does. If anyone has the actual lore explanation, please let me know.
I don't know if anybody has the actual lore explanation. Maybe if you talk to the bats.
Maybe if I talk to the bats, indeed. But that's slow.
Yeah, but then we'd know the truth about the Sky Warriors.
So you remember how I mentioned that zombie dragons can drop mega elixirs?
Yeah.
I didn't get one this time, but it feels like way more frequently than I'd care to write about after I pick up that elixir. I get the mega elixir drop from the zombie Ds.
Oh yeah, if you get a mega elixir from what's it called, from Ordeals, you don't need to grab the elixir here because you have a mega.
Yeah, the real point of the mega elixir is the fight against chaos goes on long enough that your white mage is probably going to run out of MP. So you want the elixir or a mega elixir to top your white mage off so that they can just keep spamming Healaga. And if you get a mega elixir, that also counts as your healing for the turn, which is super convenient. No. I just want encounters I can run from.
You don't get a lot of those Temple of Fiends, sadly, or Cash Shrine.
Yeah.
I mean, at least you're getting zombie dragons and not actual garbage like green dragons.
True.
And this will let us get a little bit of extra experience on blank, which can help survive the first turn on chaos potentially, which is really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you were paying close attention about an hour and a half ago, so who's to say, you might have noticed that I, in addition to buying a bottled fairy, picked up some Giant's Tonics and some speed drinks. We're not going to really get into that supply until we get to the Chaos fight, but when we do, those are going to be critical. The Giant's Tonics increases the person who drinks it HP by 200 for that fight only, and the speed drink gives you extra hit percentage.
But it gives you extra hit percentage in large quantities very quickly.
Yes. So we're going to be just chugging all of those to get through the Chaos fight.
We're just going to be flinging them at the fighter like there is no tomorrow. But the good news is we're through the worst part of the Chaos Shrine now. We are on to the elemental floors.
Why are they called the elemental floors?
Because each of the next 4 floors are themed after each of the 4 elemental fiends that you've already killed. This, conveniently enough, is the Earth floor. Guess who's at the end of the Earth floor, everybody?
Kraken.
No, it's Tiamat. Wait.
Yeah, so in case it wasn't clear, each of these floors ends with a refight against the appropriate elemental fiend. These fiends are much stronger than they were the first time around. Lich 2 having more hit points than the first version of Tiamat, for instance.
So yeah, we're gonna hike on though through these floors. Each of them have a different set of encounters. A lot of them are again going to be the same encounters that you'd see, but upgraded from that particular dungeon. Earth Medusas, which were green Medusas in the original, are actually new. They're actually from Sky Tower, which is a little bit odd. And Earth Floor also gets golems from Waterfall, but the Fire Floor has all Fire Floor encounters. The Water Floor has all Sea Shrine encounters, and the Air Floor is just a giant mess.
But it is all encounters you do see in the Sky Cave, or the Floating Palace, or whatever they call it in this one.
Well, except for quad purple worms.
True. And so just like previously, how this is going to work is we're going to spend the first few turns buffing. Lich is going to fire back with a nuke. That does not wipe the party, which is nice.
Yeah, it's Flare in the remake, but yeah, that's how that goes.
And after that, we're just going to start swinging for way too much damage. "14 hits for just under half of Lich's health."
Yep, Red Mage is dead, but we knew that was going to happen, so we really don't care about that.
Mm-hmm.
Lich is going to cast Stop, which we also don't care about, because the ribbons will protect us from the X zone and the Stop, so everybody who's important is alive.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, at this point we have the ribbons, so if Lich had gotten onto the next spell, Warp, we don't care outside of the fact that it's an annoyingly long animation. So here's the Fire Floor. Here are the Fire Lizards, or as they're referred to in the NES version, the Agama, which make for a very convenient grind in the NES version.
Yep, this is usually the fastest floor because you almost never see fire elementals and everything else is easily, not just runnable, but easily runnable, because it's all stuff from far back in the game.
Mm-hmm. And then Marilith 2 is also just not overly scary.
Yep, we're gonna heal, we're gonna buff, we're gonna make sure that that fighter is ready to roll.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're just going to start hacking away next turn. And we're just going to heal to make sure that we don't die to, like, 2 random big swings, even though that first swing only hit for about 260.
Yeah. That said, 260 on any other party member is kind of bad.
And it would actually be more than 260 on any other party member, because the knight actually has armor. Everybody else also has armor, but not quite as...
Oh, right. I forget about that stuff you wear to keep you alive.
As the resident white mage, I'm used to wearing only robes, and that does not give you a lot of protection from getting, your ribs crushed by Kraken.
True facts. Not even that stylish headband?
1 armor. It's a ribbon. Right, first swing from the fighter, by the way, was 1,440 damage, which is exactly enough to one-shot the first form of Marilith from the volcano.
And Marilith ends this off by one-shotting Blank.
Getting her one pleasure in life, killing the Red Mage.
Now we're on to water floor. Water floor is annoying because water encounters are annoying. You have two major ones that really get under my skin. We have what's affectionately known as the seafood special, which is sea trolls, sea scorpions, and sea snakes. That's just kind of obnoxious to deal with. You can also get water elementals, which are unrunnable.
Yeah, which if we haven't saved in a while, we'll be pointing to Blizzards at and hoping that Blank doesn't die. Because water elementals hit hard.
Yeah. Actually, fun trivia fact, but before we make our way down to the final floor, there are 4, elemental enemies, fires, earths, waters, and airs. 3 of the 4 are unrunnable. You can get away from the air. Here's a seafood special.
Yep, Sea Shrine, gonna Sea Shrine.
Yep. But at the end of the day, we're tough enough. We have the resources. We got through all of it just fine. Some last minute heals before we say hi to the squid. Who still, for some reason, has ink.
Yeah, and level 2 attack magics. Kraken is still, other than that occasional, I decide to reach out and whack a red mage into oblivion, is just not very scary.
Yeah.
Lich is I'm bringing Flare to the party, and Marilith is I at least use level 3 attack magics and Blaze. And Tiamat is, Tiamat's the queen for a reason, darn it.
Yeah, she has as her skills all of the skills from all of the dragons we've seen thus far. And some we haven't. Plus some, pretty spooky attack magic.
Yeah, Tiamat is no joke. And she's got 5,500 hit points as well. She is also fairly tough.
Yeah.
Look at that, Thundara. Isn't it cute? It's adorable.
I just want to thank Kraken 2 on behalf of all randomizer players for giving people a break whenever they see Thunder 2.
Yep, every time Chaos Cast Lit 2, I smile a little bit more.
And finally the air floor, which has awful encounters.
Yeah, but we're through to the air floor. We're almost there. There's only 2 floors to go in the entire game, and one floor does not have any random. It's not this one.
Yeah. Giant's gloves. Heal Aga because oh god, we need it on Tia.
Yeah, because she'll start blasting us with poison gas, thunderbolt, Scourge will come out, which was Bane from the original, which is an instant death to everybody. Could kill off Blank just outright anyways. Needless to say, it's a bad time to not have a ribbon on your head.
Mm-hmm. And of course, you know, when Tiamat gets bitey, the white mage isn't happy either.
Yeah, but 4 hits for 196 is way more manageable than 6 hits or 8 hits for 400 plus. So.
Yeah.
We basically want the Fiends to be meleeing and not using abilities, because abilities take longer, and even though we're going to survive the abilities, it just wastes time.
Mm-hmm.
Just melee us and be done with it. Although Poison Gas is pretty quick, honestly.
Yeah, and plus, you know, melee attacks are single targets, so if those melees get spread out, it's a lot easier for the white mage to keep everyone healed up.
Yeah, it's basically pretty free at that point, honestly.
And one more round should do it. There's that Ice Dragon ability.
Alright. 3 down. 4 down. Just the one to go now.
Yep. So I go back upstairs for some reason. Alright. So, a few last minute things to do. We're going to do some inventory management, get that elixir up top. We're going to heal up everyone to full. We're going to ether everyone up to full. Well, except the fighter, who shouldn't be casting magic anyway. And then, for my final trick, I'm going to put Blank in the front of the party. And let's go. I'm going to pull this fight, we're going to do a whole bunch of buffing, and then we're going to start swinging. Time is when the screen flashes on the last hit. But the good news is we've got a little bit of time to go before then. So we're going to put that there, we're going to Hilaga, we're going to Giant's Tonic U, Giant's Tonic U. Yeah, that's what happens, but, you know, we expect Blank to die in this.
Yep, but that's a thing that happens.
Yeah, we're gonna Giant Sonic Q, Giant Sonic Q. The white mage getting punched, on the other hand, is a little scarier.
Yeah, we don't necessarily want to see that. Like, the Hilaga will catch it up enough, though, so oddly enough on Chaos, you're not hoping for melee attacks. You're honestly hoping to see your party get AoE to punch.
Yeah.
Because your healing can mostly keep up with it, and then if, like, your red mage with 771 maximum hit points at this point gets meleeed, now you don't care.
Mm-hmm. But yeah. You usually expect that second red mage to go down, so that's not actually a concern, though it is nice when they stay up for a bit longer to get a few more buffs up and spread around.
Yep, absolutely. Having the second red mage alive is very helpful. Oftentimes, if I am feeling pretty good about my run, I will risk throwing a Giant's Tonic at the red mage and hope for good turn order. to save time, because if you can get that red mage up to 492, you're probably fine until Chaos gets through their 4th ability, and the ability listing uses Earthquake on your party, which is just an instant death effect in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a bit of a dice roll, honestly, and so there's definitely advantages and disadvantages to it.
Yeah, I bought Kiraga on the on the red mage who has levels purely for the case where the white mage starts getting bullied a little bit, like we saw.
Yep, you get that good catch-up heal going. Another 250 on the white mage is always greatly appreciated, and now everybody's in the happy space, and now we're just going to keep an eye on the red mage will eventually have to elixir the white mage.
Yeah.
Chaos casting Blizzaga is less good. This is not what we want to see right now.
Yeah. The chaos casting spells is bad, is really the answer.
Yeah, remember how we said that the spell list is fixed. The 4th spell that Chaos has is Kiraja, which is Cure 4, which we absolutely do not want to see.
Well, we might as well start getting ourselves on the leaderboard then. So we're at 1.5 out of 20.
It's math time.
There's 3.
Those speed drinks are really starting to kick in. You can see that the hit rates is now 18.
5. I'm gonna throw the elixir this turn.
Yep, you'll notice that just through the buffing phase alone that our white mage is down to 20 MP. Which is fine, because we're going to throw the elixir now and be back to full. Oh, 2600, nice.
Yeah.
And now that white mage will be able to cat. We have 10 more turns before this fight has to end, at this point.
Yeah, so we're at 9.5 out of 20. There's that Thundaga.
Chaos, stop. Don't do this to us.
That's 12. And of course, it's not even the Kiraja that's scary, it's what comes after. Chaos.
I mean, we have enough hit points to stand up to a flare, it's fine.
Oh, no, what comes immediately afterwards.
Oh, right.
Haste.
I forgot that Chaos casts Haste.
Which works just as well for Chaos as it does for us.
Yeah, but of course, all of our hard work is gone at this point. Pretty much. I think we're down to 2,000 damage done at this point now.
Yeah, back to 5,000 after that swing.
Yeah, but you'll notice that the fighter's damage is starting to get way out of control here. We're talking 3,500 and 4,000 a swing.
Yeah.
Is there a hit cap for speed drinks?
I don't know. But yeah, there we go. There is that hasted chaos punch on the white mage.
And now we are severely racing against time right now.
Mm-hmm. There goes the red mage. Got him. Time.
Wow, that gets a little stressful at the end there.
Yeah, especially when you're not quite sure where you are on the damage levels because you had to subtract 10 and then you had to do some menuing so you forget to count for a round. But yeah, that is Final Fantasy 1.
Not bad. You finished well inside the estimate.
What was the time?
3 hours, 8 minutes, and 13 seconds.
Wow. Honestly, that was better than I thought we were doing.
You. Indeed, that's the 3-hour run go. So.
Yeah.
Do you have anything more you want to share with the audience before we cut to intermission?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to just all of the Final Fantasy I community for both this, the PSP version, the NES version, the randomizer community with, and I want to give a particular shout out to Demarine, who has commentated the last 2 marathon runs I did of this and wasn't around for me to get sappy last time, so I just want to say thank you. You are such an inspiration for me as a runner and as a commentator.
Oh, thank you.
And I also want to once again thank No Glitches Allowed for giving me the opportunity to slide into the last minute.
Yeah, you were lucky this time, but maybe submit properly next time.
I mean, that'll be the play.
Fantastic.
Wait, new runners making submission errors? That also never happens.
Oh, never. Never. Anyways, we are now gonna jump to intermission for a moment more. And